The Malagawatch Mice and the Church That Sailed. Written and illustrated by Caroline Stellings. For my great-grandparents, Martha and Joseph Fuster, and for Wayne, Ruth, and George. For 100 years, and even more, there sat a church beside the shore, where songs rang out from every pew. The people sang in Gaelic, too. And there, beside the river banks, beneath their feet, below the planks, another group gave prayers of thanks. Their kin came from the Hebrides, with nothing but a piece of cheese, their only wealth a tartan quilt, sewn from squares of each clan's kilt. They settled underneath the floor in June of 1884. To earn their keep they'd dust and sweep, for generations evermore. Above the boards each passing day less people came, folks moved away. Then one night the gavel fell. Church council said, "We have to sell." A resolution was approved, the church they loved would have to move. It wouldn't go by truck or rail, nor bounce along some bumpy trail. For safety's sake, they'd use the lake. To Iona it would sail. Faced with such a sorry plight, the church mice held a vote that night. They had no options to discuss, their choice, it was unanimous. The only thing that they could do was buy a boat and sail there too. But first they'd have to raise the cash. They all got busy in a flash. The ladies planned a rummage sale and sent out flyers in the mail to all their friends across the dale. The men did jobs around the town, like stacking cones for Mrs. Brown. The kids made rings of beads and things, fallen from past wedding gowns. Although the church mice did their best, they never even stopped to rest. Their total earnings still fell short, which left them with a last resort. They'd nothing left, their shelves were bare, no pots, no pans, no silverware. The only thing they'd left to spare, their antique quilt of each clan's kilt, like none else anywhere. Sorrow struck, and filled with dread, they went to auction off their spread. They had no choice, those little mice, going once, going twice. Before the auctioneer yelled "sold," Grandpa said, "I may be old, but there's one thing that I know, without your roots you'll never grow." He took the quilt down off the nail. Our heritage is not for sale. As Grandpa stood there on the block, the building's walls began to rock. A wrecking bar, a saw, a jack. The mice jumped out the nearest crack. Their church was towed along the road and wasn't coming back. In a hurry, in all haste, the mice, they had no time to waste. They ran until their feet were sore and found a raft beside the shore. This bold attempt was sure to fail. Their makeshift craft, it had no sail. Honk, honk, the tugboat blared its horn, as church and barge were waterborne. On the edge of tears and asking why, they watched their home go gliding by. In deep despair they said a prayer, their eyes upon the sky. Then suddenly, right then, right there, they felt a breeze, a gust of air. It soon became a windy blast that whirled around them lightning fast. Whoosh, it caught their tartan spread. "Pass that aboard," old Grandpa said. He tied the quilt on like a sail. "Thanks to our kin, we will prevail." And now folks come from far away to see the church that sailed that day. The songs they ring out like before, above and underneath the floor. They will this time forevermore. The Church That Sailed. The west side of Cape Breton's beautiful Bredor Lake was buzzing with excitement in late November 2003 as the 130-year-old Malagawatch Church was lifted from its foundations and moved by barge 20 kilometers across the lake to Iona, where it now stands as a proud reminder of Scots Presbyterianism in Nova Scotia. There had been a church at Malagawatch since 1724, when the governor of Louisbourg authorized construction of a mission church for the Mi'kmaq under Father Antoine Gaulin. In 1829, a Presbyterian church was constructed, believed to be the home of the first Sunday school in Canada in 1839. In the 1870s, the local population, many of them Gaels, had grown too large for the aging church, and a new one consecrated in 1874. In 1925, the congregation joined the newly established United Church of Canada. The Malagawatch Church hadn't been used for regular services for decades, and in 2003, as a way to preserve their historic church, parishioners agreed to sell the building to the Highland Village Museum at Iona. There it has been revitalized as the heart of the museum complex that strives to preserve the Scottish heritage of Nova Scotia, mice and all.